Before we reason tonight, I just want to start by acknowledging the pain and devastation that Hurricane Melissa left behind in Jamaica. Entire communities flattened, families displaced, people living in shelters, they live out a door with relatives, businesses, schools, farms, all gone. It's been heartbreaking, but it's also been very inspiring watching Jamaicans, both home and abroad, come together to help. And not only Jamaicans, I should say. A lot of countries have sent people and supplies to Jamaica. It's been a global effort to assist the island in its recovery. The barrel drives, church donation, 12-hour telethon here that AFTV and Robbie are going to put on Friday. The unity has been powerful. Our friends in the UK, I see them doing a lot of yeoman's work as it relates to generating supplies, hygiene, food that are not perishable. Just a lot of efforts and rallying by the diaspora and others to really help the island to recover. Because still amongst all the rebuilding, a question keeps coming up. I heard it. A question or a statement, I heard it maybe about over a week ago. I was sitting in a location, hear the conversation, listen, didn't say much, just listen and absorb the information. And then I heard it much more recently. People saying it's God's punch for the country and for Jamaica, wickedness and its crime and its history. Other people deem a little bit more reasonable, say it's nature doing what nature does. But, when I hear the comment about is God punishment for Jamaica wickedness and bringing religion into the whole equation, it really reminded me of something that comedian George Carlin said years ago about how people often use religion to explain everything, even when they answer them right in front of them. Carlin said, and I'm going to paraphrase, he said, I got to tell you the truth. When it comes to bull, when you use stronger language, big time bull, you have to stand in awe of the all-time champion of false promises and exaggerated claims, religion. No contest. Religion easily has the greatest bull story ever told. Think about it. Religion has actually convinced people that there's an invisible man living in the sky who watches everything we do every minute of every day. And this invisible man has a special list of 10 things he doesn't want you to do. And if you do any of those 10 things, he has a special place full of fire and smoke and burning and torture and anguish, where we'll send you to live and suffer and burn and choke and scream and cry forever until the end of time. But hear this. He loves you. He loves you and he needs money. Always money. Now you're Carlin. He was extreme in how he put it, blunt and controversial, because I saw him operate. But the message underneath was still relevant. We can't keep blaming or crediting God for everything that happens in this world. Sometimes it's not divine punishment or reward. It's the raw and unpredictable power of nature. Some of it one can attribute to some human action, neglect, that cause climate change, and some action that result in us not being prepared as we should be. But to blame this all on or to credit God for something so debilitating, so destructive, so cruel, is that reasonable? So tell you what, let's reason through this properly, because sometimes we make them statement there and people believe it, because you hear them say it with passion, they believe it. So let's reason through it. and start what really happened. So Hurricane Melissa, as many people know, was a Category 5 storm. It's not normal. Winds near 185 miles an hour. The strongest hurricane ever to hit Jamaica. Flatten homes, rip up road, riverbanks overflow, Westmoreland, Hanover, Montego Bay. Destructive. But let's be real. It wasn't just the storm. We also were very vulnerable. Right? Okay. Them say those who fail to plan are preparing to fail. So that's part of it. But with Category 5 hurricane people, you know that go. Thousands of Jamaicans still live in board houses. And I heard a lot of comments about Westmoreland, how much board houses people see at Savlamar. You have housing structures, buildings that are not reinforced. And another thing too, many of these homes sit in low-lying, flood-prone areas, right beside rivers and gullies with poor drainage and garbage thrown at the drainage them and block them up. So when water come and flow, you don't know where to go. So when the rain come down, when you see the rain come down and the drainage block up and things are set right, then the water go, where the power take it? Right? And flood our communities every time. That's not God rod, people. In some of those instances, even though you can't prevent nature from happening, especially nature where I say, and you can't probably put mitigants in place, you can't prevent it. Some of it's bad planning. Some of it is bad planning meet poverty and climate change. And you're going to have the destruction even more than it's supposed to be. So if we keep living in unsafe conditions and call it fate, we're mistaking hope for responsibility. We can't stop nature in the people. When it come, it come. And when it comes, sometimes it vex. And it won't vex this time. But we are blame. We are said, boy, I gotta punish me. Really? If hurricanes are punishment, people, for corruption and greed and crime, then why are some nations 10 times more corrupt than Jamaica? Trust me. Why them escape storm every year? If sin bring disaster, why are innocent children, elders, poor people, they may always the one to lose them home? Them are the first one, always the one to lose them home. A lot of that have to do with poverty, and poor conditions, and nothing to do with sin and crime and, corruption. The truth is simple, people. Melissa didn't destroy Jamaica's morality. It exposed Jamaicans' fragility. We can all agree that Category 5 hurricane is not normal. It will cause significant damage no matter what you want to do, no matter what preventive measures you put in place, you undertake. However, it also reveals that decades of ignoring infrastructure, housing code, urban planning, rural planning has made us vulnerable to every storm, no matter how powerful a storm is. But with a Category 5 storm, as I heard the Prime Minister say when he was on a lot of the networks, the major networks, including those in the US, Category 5 is Category 5. You can have measures in place, but you still don't get hit hard. So when we say God punish we take the pressures off some real issues. We have climate change, and Jamaica not engineer and initiate climate change. That's global, and the big industrialized countries, they are the main culprit for climate change, and Jamaica feel the pressure. But we also have poor governance, weak construction standards, and we have some civic project and neglect that we're responsible for. So we can't just cry about divine judgment and divine intervention and I gotta do this when nature simply reacts sometimes. We not control Category 5 hurricane, When it come, it come. But we can just acquiesce to them things there. I've been to Japan a number of times. You're in those buildings sometime, and the building, and them have earthquake, the building has sway with the earthquake. Them not crash down because they built a certain standard. So even though Category 5 is monumental, significant, damaging, or create havoc, if you set up yourself right, it can help to prevent some of that. Now we know say we don't have the resources to do everything we want to do. feel like mitigate some of this. But we can do better. The truth is, some of this are some vulnerability, we can do better. It's not spiritual judgment. We can do better. Me hear the conversation and people do some comparative. So boy, God spear Kingston. So Kingston can help others. That's so poetic, and it's comforting for some. But Kingston wasn't spared because God loved it more. It was spared because the storm them moved in a different way and shifted west and shifted south and past Kingston. That's meteorology, not morality, people. If there's something, if that logic is true, then it means that God choose Constant Spring over Savlamar or Uptown, not the hills over St. Elizabeth. People, that's not divine justice, that's weather patterns. So yes, Kingston is in a position to help, and we should all be happy that why Kingston never get hit hard. And Kingston have 1/3 of Jamaica population, so if that got devastated, it would be much worse. But because it's there and it hasn't been damaged, it's able to help, and it should help and help immensely. And let me tell you something, if we're calling every tragedy God's punishment, then think about these people, about all the wars them and suffering happening across the world forever over time. If you read the Bible, I mean, read the Bible, enough for me to look at you. Stop with church. I'm young, but enough for me to look at you. There's countless wars in the Bible now, and subsequent to the Bible, Just think more recently. So this is the last 100+ years. World War I, enough people dead. World War II, millions dead. Korea War, Vietnam War, Desert Storm. We now have Russia and Ukraine war. We have Middle East with Palestine and Israel, and all the fighting are going on with Israel, Iran, Lebanon, Yemen, Sudan, civil war, enough people to talk about, but devastating, hundreds of thousands dead. Congo's ongoing turmoil. Are we saying that God is picking sides all this time? Forever, from ever and ever? Don't the narrative need to change, people? Because if this is the case, then it means that God is punishing the people that he or she has made. People are supposed to be God's one creation, And you say, I do it for centuries, my punish just punish human beings, Really? Go back to what you're calling, what George Carlin say, in terms of religion and how people think. The concept or the idea that Jamaica get punished by God because of its sin and its criminality and corruption, it doesn't line up with the idea of a loving and merciful and forgiving God. To the contrary. So the truth is, people, humanity bears culpability for a lot of things that happen. Because of greed, ego, lust for power, neglect. Them things they fuel wars, famine and destruction. And when you have nature add to that, that's why human beings suffer so much. Human beings make choices. And we contribute to the whole climate change, people. And you see these climate change manifesting themselves in the severity of some of these natural disasters and the impact that they have. We pollute. You people talk about gas, so try to move to electric vehicle, and some people are resist. We deforest, kill out all the Amazon. We overbuild. And then we act surprised when nature start, as they say in Jamaica, liquid. People, that's not God anger. That's our reflection staring back at us. The God I learned about when I was growing up in school doesn't take pleasure in destruction, even though if you read the Bible, enough destruction in it. He's not aiming hurricanes like darts at sinful nations. He's supposed to be present after every storm, and help the people them rebuild. Right? I help them generate food, generate clothes, recover, and help shelter the people them who homeless and destitute. That is what we learn about God, and divine presence, More about compassion, not condemnation. So this whole thing about God punish us isn't just about hurricane, people. It's part of a larger mindset that holding back, I'm going to say it, black and poor nations. Religion was once used to control our ancestors, to make them obedient, patient, and quiet in the face of injustice. And too often, that mindset still live on today now. We haven't got rid of it. When faith stops us from asking hard questions, from holding leaders accountable, or from using our brains to build and innovate, it stops being strength and becomes a shackle. It's a lock we down that keep we in bondage, and we don't seem to realize that. If you look at the world, the most developed nations, say a Japan, or a UK, or a South Korea, or a Sweden, them have religion in them country there now. But not rule them. They separate belief from governance, from science, from progress. Then bifurcate the two. We intertwine it with everything, and it rules us. In poor nations, including Jamaica, and most of the nations are poor, a lot of nations are poor, I shouldn't say most, are black-run nations. Religion dominates everything. And instead of empowering us, it pacifies us in terms of how we think and how we operate and we behave. We as a nation in Jamaica probably have more church per square mile than anybody else. So faith is embedded in the society. But me believe it's time to decolonize religion, to make it serve progress, not paralysis. Because true belief should liberate you, not limit you. And for me, from where I sit, religion definitely limits us people. So no, God didn't punish Jamaica. He or she, the deity, didn't choose Kingston over Westmoreland, didn't choose Spanish Town over St. Elizabeth, didn't destroy the boardhouses that we have, and Savamar have enough boardhouses, and it didn't spear the concrete house them because of sin. What destroyed Jamaica was nature, including the growing impact of climate change. And we have to also admit people, in some instances, years of neglect, poor planning, poor drainage, poor construction, poor housing policies. We build fragile homes, trusted faith to hold them up, even though God give us wisdom, and we don't use the wisdom as we should. And maybe beyond the storm now, we need to ask some harder questions, people. Has religion become our comfort zone? Or has it become our cage? Is religion our prison? Faith should make us brave, not blind. It should drive us to build, learn to lead, not to wait. So next time you hear someone talk about that God punish we, tell them, no, we can't prevent or control natural disasters. But to be honest, we can lessen their impact through better planning, preparation, and accountability. Because real faith doesn't ignore reality, no. It transforms it. So I'm glad you can listen to me and say, because I've been thinking about this quite a bit, and I've been getting frustrated with the concept about God a punish me. Because if that was the case, then God a punish people from the inception of time until now. So I'm glad you're here. This is Balanced Views, where truth meets reason and faith finds sense. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel, people. Appreciate you. Peace out.